Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is May 30th, 2023, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the euro trickle lower. But first, looking at today's major economic events out of the United States at 2 p.m. South African time, we have consumer confidence number coming out. Now, starting out with the Forex symbols, the lira, Turkish lira, continues to weaken once again versus the US dollar, and that is a bona fide downward spiral for the Turkish lira. Now, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ unchanged. Yesterday was Memorial Day and the markets were closed. Now, looking at commodities, gold and oil trickle lower as well. Now, looking at stocks, the market was closed yesterday, so nothing really doing there. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. Let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to start with the Euro USD, and it's a nice trickle down versus the US dollar, and we're hitting 106.90-ish level, and that's a big breach because 107 was the support level, and then it's being breached, and so that means we could trickle down back to this 105-ish level potentially, as this is still unfolding. Now, looking at the other majors, nothing really doing there. GBP, USD, just flatlining. The Australian dollar also flatlining. But the Japanese yen is reducing itself to 140 versus the dollar. Okay, so we are getting a little bit, not just the euro, but also the Japanese yen is depreciating. Now, lastly, looking at the Turkish lira, this is where we're at. A big gap up and to 2027. And this is just like, I mean, it just keeps on going. I mean, we picked it up somewhere in the 1980-ish level. And look where we are right now, almost 1 point above it. Now, 20 is a big number. Okay, and if this continues at this pace, we could see it continuously go to 25, and once it clears 25 to 30. So this is a big deal. It's got to stay above it, and it's got to continue on the upside. So, I mean, looking at a chart like that, I mean, this is just a clear indication of the situation in Turkey. I mean, I've overemphasized this once or twice already. Now, looking at the commodities, nothing really doing. Gold really unchanged and trickling lower to 1936. Not a big deal, but it is still in supportish area. So keep that in mind as this is reaching that 30 level on the RSI. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting because that's the bottom of the level, and that's where I anticipate some sort of bounce. Now, looking at crude oil, unchanged, $72 a barrel, nothing really doing. Okay, it's just sidelining for right now, and it has been sidelining for quite some time. So keep that in mind as this is not really a big trade. Okay, maybe you want to play a couple of points, but you got to catch it really at $71 or $70 and then load it off at $74. Now, looking at the U.S. market, unchanged from yesterday, 31,191 for the Dow Jones. Markets were closed yesterday, so people were taking their vacation. The futures were open, but nonetheless, it's really unchanged for what it is right now. Looking at the NASDAQ also, trading at 14,400 and also unchanged there. Now, looking at the individual stocks, nothing has changed since yesterday because the markets were closed. So Apple still very strong, Facebook extremely strong, Microsoft extremely strong. So we're seeing a tremendous divergence here. I mean, Microsoft is only about 14 points, 15 points from its all-time highs. That's a big deal. Now, lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin this morning, not doing much. It really unchanged at 27,700. We did pop to 28,000, and this is a nice little comeback for Bitcoin, so keep that in mind as this is getting stronger, at least for now. Sideways trading, but on the upper end. This is Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.